What if I told you that without any coding knowledge, you can train your own AI chatbot that instantly handles incoming leads with high quality, solving 90% of routine support tasks while engaging and converting them into customers? And get this, it runs directly on your WordPress site, knows everything about your business, always follows your exact instructions, never sleeps, and costs less than 2 cups of coffee per month? Sounds too complicated? Actually, it's super easy and requires zero programming skills. And right now, I'm going to show you exactly how this works, what it costs, and how simple it is to set this up for yourself. So the heart of our smart chatbot is the AIWU WordPress plugin, which you can find at aiwuplugin.com or in the WordPress plugin directory. We'll also need the OpenAI API to connect the AI. Using the plugin, we'll create the actual chatbot, configure its functionality and appearance. Then with just a few clicks, we'll connect the OpenAI API and train our own custom model based on our business data and behavioral instructions. Let's go to our website and install the plugin. Search for AIWU, install and activate it. Now we copy our OpenAI API key and activate it in the plugin settings. As you can see, nothing complicated. Our foundation is ready. Now let's quickly break down what training a model actually means and why it's not as scary as it sounds. Imagine you have a smart intern. They already know how to speak, write, and communicate, but they know nothing specifically about your business. That's exactly what training is for. Simply passing on knowledge about your company so they can talk to customers just like you would. To put it simply, there are 2 ways to train a model: fine-tuning and embeddings. Fine-tuning is like taking a ready-made model and uploading your instructions, texts, and responses into it. It rewrites part of its neurons to match your style, memorizes key phrases, communication tone, service list, and from the very first request starts talking like your manager. Embeddings is when the bot doesn't retrain itself, the model itself doesn't change, but with each request it searches for answers in an external smart library, a vector database, and adds them to the prompt each time. Here, your texts are pre-converted into vectors, points in 3D space by meaning, and the bot simply finds the closest points and plugs them into the prompt so the model responds considering this data. Fine-tuning is faster in operation and simpler to set up, but can make inaccuracies. Embeddings is more precise and flexible for large knowledge bases, but can be overkill and expensive for a simple chatbot. So let's move from theory to practice. For the bot to understand what to learn at all, we need a dataset, simply a collection of your materials where all business knowledge is gathered. This could be website texts, product descriptions, frequently asked questions, team instructions, everything that helps it talk to customers like you do. Globally, datasets come in 2 types: raw text format, where all materials are simply collected together, and question-answer format, where there are already specific queries and responses to them. And here's where the hardest part begins: gathering all this knowledge in one place without missing anything. My recommendation is to use the question-answer format. Just create a Google spreadsheet and divide it into 2 columns: question and answer. As an example, I'll show you the dataset we use on AIWuplugin.com. It contains about 500 possible questions and answers, and creating it took me approximately 5 hours. Not that much considering the bot now knows everything about our product. From here it's simple. Go to AI Training, then Datasets in AIWU WordPress plugin. Click Create New. Upload our CSV file with questions and answers and map the columns. Specify which column is question and which is answer. Check it, click Create, and that's it. Our dataset is uploaded to the plugin and ready for model training. Now let's move to the most interesting part: training the model. In this video, I'll be using the fine-tuning method. And if this video gets 100 likes, I'll make a separate video about embeddings. So let's go to AI Training, then Fine-Tuned Models in AIWU WordPress plugin and click Create New. Here we give our model a name, then choose Base Model. Only OpenAI models are available for now, so I'm selecting GPT-4o Mini. It's both fast and inexpensive. After that, we select our just created dataset in the dataset selection field. There it is, connected. All that's left is to click Run Training. The training process will begin. It usually takes 1 to 4 hours, so I'll just fast forward this in the video. But for you, everything will happen literally in a second.
A few moments later.
Our model is successfully trained. As you can see, the status is ready. Hooray! Now let's move to the most interesting part. We'll create a chatbot and test it in action to make sure it really responds like a true expert on our business. Now that we have a ready model, let's connect it to our chatbot and configure the appearance. For this, we go to Workspace and select AI Chatbot. The chatbot is basically ready to use, but let's choose the model we need and adjust the details. For now, we'll leave all general settings as default. Now let's go to the API Settings tab. In the model field, we select our just trained model. Here you can also configure other parameters if needed, for example, maximum number of tokens, temperature, and so on. After that, we go to the Context tab and configure our chatbot's behavior. Here we insert the prompt. I prepared it in advance, nothing special, just explained the chatbot's role, where it's located, and a couple points about communication style. We also add a human assistance request button so users can call a human if they need help, and quickly configure bot identity to give the bot personality, name, avatar, greeting, and position.
A few moments later.
Finally, we have everything ready. Let's copy this shortcode and add it to a page for testing. So let's ask some questions about AIWU. What is AIWU? As you can see, it responds consistently and correctly. Now let's ask in more detail about the AI chatbot solution. And again, it describes my solution in detail. And finally, how much does it cost? As you can see, the price exactly matches our pricing. Not bad. And now comes the most delicate part. How much did it actually cost? If we switch to OpenAI's actual billing, pricing is a bit more complex. It includes input tokens, cached input, output which only applies when generating and not when uploading the dataset, and training time which costs $100 per hour. In our case, that came to about 1.5 cents for input, 0.2 cents for cached input, 0.1 cent for output, and 20 cents for the training itself. Altogether, the total was just 22 cents. Of course, the price depends on the specific model, but as you can see, it's really not expensive. When it comes to ongoing usage, here's a practical example. On the AIWU site, we typically see around 100 chatbot conversations per month with an average of 6 messages each. That adds up to about 800,000 tokens per month, which equals roughly $8 with a fine-tuned GPT-4o mini model. So, to sum it up, as you can see, creating and fine-tuning your own AI chatbot turned out to be simple, quick, and required no programming knowledge. Now we have an assistant that knows everything about our business, responds to clients 24/7, saves the team's time, and costs very little. If you also want to automate customer communication and boost sales, now is the perfect time to give it a try.